The specialty resin category is a pretty motley one since it's the family of miscellaneous resins made for more niche applications. Because it's the largest resin family, I'll break it up into 3 parts, starting with the high-temp, FR, and ESD resins. These names are very descriptive of the resin's specialty and focal application. High temp is a heat-resistant resin thanks to its heat deflection temperature of 238 degrees Celsius. Flame retardant resin, or FR, is a UL94 V0 rated material, meaning a 3 millimeter thick test sample self-extinguishes within 10 seconds of ignition. And ESD resin is a static dissipative material with modulus and impact resistance similar to ABS. Like I said, based on these descriptions, it's pretty apparent what applications these materials are engineered for, and there are certainly some interesting use cases. For example, Google's Advanced Technology and Projects Lab, or ATAP, was working on a new wearable device that would be made with overmolding. Overmolding requires tuning over the course of numerous first articles to achieve parts free of cosmetic issues, and since ATAP would be overmolding high-cost PCBs, this iterative process was going to get very expensive. So rather than overmold the actual PCBs, ATAP instead just printed dummy PCBs using that high-temp resin because it's dimensionally accurate enough to match the PCB and it's capable of withstanding the high temperatures of molding. The result was a decrease in lead time for the actual PCBs of 3 weeks down to 3 days, and a per part cost of $100 down to only 80 cents. The next selection of specialty resins are the casting resins, used for lost wax investment casting, since these resins contain varying concentrations of wax. For example, castable wax is 20% wax, and castable wax 40 is 40% wax. The result of this wax variation is different levels of casting potential of certain part sizes and geometries between these resins, with some overlap present. In other words, to capture the fine details and small sizes of jewelry rings, you'd be better off using castable wax or true cast resins, depending on how refined the geometry is, over the large-scale capable casting resin ClearCast. Both TrueCast and ClearCast were released within the last year to provide an update to the soon-to-be obsolete castable wax 40 in the case of TrueCast, and to provide a casting material capable of handling large parts in the case of ClearCast. The benefit of using these casting resins is that very unique custom designs can be made without tooling and therefore can be made quickly and inexpensively. Plus, additively producing these casting master patterns means you have the freedom to produce highly intricate geometry impossible to manufacture traditionally. Diversified metalsmiths in Alabama were approached to cast 100 impellers in titanium, which was an unprofitable venture for them to produce these traditionally. So they turned to ClearCast upon Formlabs' recommendation because it would offer a clean burnout, have a low barrier to entry, it's dimensionally stable, and can produce large parts. Once implemented, they completed the project without having to change process parameters from their current PMMA casting process. The result was a cost savings of over $200 per pattern and 2 weeks savings on lead time, culminating in a total ROI on the printer in just 9 months. As for the printing workflow, only ClearCast requires post-curing. Also, to minimize thermal expansion during burnout, parts to be printed in ClearCast need to have uniform thin walls and be hollow with an internal lattice structure to maintain rigidity. To produce the lattice structure, use Materialize Magics or Formware. Lastly, not all of these resins can be used on all the Formlabs SLA printers. Castable Wax 40 is only available on the Form 3, and TrueCast is only available on the Form 4. Now, all the information I've covered so far, along with all burnout and casting parameters, are listed very clearly on this page called Choosing the Right Resin, which is on the Formlabs support site. The last resin in our specialty category is Alumina 4N, which is a highly advanced ceramic resin. Kind of like the castable resins, it has a multi-step post-printing workflow to achieve the ultimate end-use part. Alumina 4N produces true ceramic parts at 99.99% alumina purity that are extremely abrasion resistant and temperature resistant, capable of withstanding temperatures approaching 1500 degrees Celsius. As we've seen so far, and this is also true with 3D printing ceramics, the high cost and lead times associated with tooling production and the limiting design freedom all become non-existent once 3D printing is used. This became apparent to Atlas Electronic, a naval and marine electronic systems business who printed a geometrically complex heatsink from Alumina-4N in a few days, what normally takes 3 weeks to produce. This made iterating to the final design much faster, which was a major benefit for this customer that was dealing with a mission-critical application. While Alumina-4N is a very powerful material, its workflow is highly involved. The resin requires near constant refrigeration to prolong its already limited shelf life. The green state parts are very delicate and must be supported very specifically. Scaling the parts is an iterative process. The parts must be washed in a bespoke washing solution and then thoroughly dried. And they require a burnout and sintering process, which is recommended to occur in separate kilns. Because of this, we don't recommend using Alumina-4N as your first resin material if you're just starting out. And again, the Formlabs support page has very thorough guidelines to walk you through successful printing and firing with Alumina-4N. Now, our final resin family is the BioMed Resins. This family has 7 medical-grade materials. 4 are general purpose, and 3 are engineering for applications where performance and biocompatibility and sterilizability are critical. To maintain biocompatibility, they are made in a Class 8 clean room housed within an ISO 13485 certified facility and have been certified along the following ISO standards that you see here for minimal biological risk and for use in several different industries and applications. On Formlabs biocompatible certifications and standards page, if you scroll down, you'll see the BioMed resins, their applications, and their sterilization compatibility. If you continue scrolling, you'll see 2 non-BioMed resins that we've discussed already, Silicon 40A and Tough 1500, both of which having some biocompatibility so that they're safe to make wearables. One material to note is BioMed Clear, because it's the only material that's safe for use with breathing pathways. During COVID-19, ventilators quickly became in short supply, so Northwell Health, New York's largest healthcare provider, designed and printed hose adapters to convert BiPAP machines that are used for patients suffering from sleep apnea into ventilators. These hose adapters were printed in BioMed Clear and could be mass-produced at a rate of 150 per hour using only one printer. So as you can see, choosing the right BioMed resin depends on the way it will be used on the patient, but it also depends on the material properties. Despite these nuances, there's still quite a bit of overlap between these 7 resins, as you can see from the applications that each is aimed for. To print with these resins successfully, first you'll need a B-series printer like the Form 3B or Form 4BL. These are capable of printing with both the BioMed resins and the non-BioMed resins, but make sure you separate their respective consumables. For example, build platforms, wash tanks, and tools used for printing BioMed resins should never contact non-BioMed resins in order to maintain biocompatibility. This information, along with sterilizing methods and parameters, is found in each of the BioMed Resins manufacturing guide. In these guides, there's also a mention at the top here that users should independently verify the suitability of the material for their particular application and intended purpose. The reason that statement's there is because the resins themselves are biocompatible, but because of the large range of user-dependent printing and part design scenarios that Formlabs obviously can't control, users and parts are responsible for following these manufacturing guidelines or else risking a part that fails biocompatible regulations. Okay, so that covers it for our SLA resins.